Okay, everyone, how's everyone doing? My name is Ryan. I'm Mark's best man. I'm his best friend. We've known each other for 9 years. First of all, I want to thank Annie and her entire family for putting this on, for putting this all together. I know they put a lot of effort, a lot of time into it, and they worked tirelessly on it, and it's completely worth it. It looks beautiful. Everything looks great, so thank you guys, and thank you for having us at your farm, and your homes, and your beautiful town. It's really great. Before I do get started, I want to just tell a quick story. When Mark called me, he asked me to be his best man. I was happy, of course, I was excited, told him yes, and he had been talking to me about the wedding plans and what was going to happen, and the speech got brought up, and I had told him how I'm completely terrified to speak in public, like terrified. And I told him I'd given one before and it was all right, but I was completely afraid. And he told me a story that he went to a friend of ours who's here, Chad's wedding, and Chad's dad was his best man, and he gave the best speech in the world, according to Mark. He gave this amazing, beautiful speech that could never be topped. So I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna settle me down, tell me just get up there and talk, and it's no big deal. But true Mark fashion, he says, you know, that's the best speech I ever seen, Duran, and I hope you can get up there and do just the same. I hope it's just as good. So he didn't help me out at all. Thank you for that. So to that, here we go. So I met Mark for the first time. I was 9 years old. I moved to a new town, Valparaiso, Indiana, where we're all from. Mark was the he was the very first person I met there. He walked up to me, hair parted on the side, with about a full can of hairspray on. Gelled down, matted down as much as you could get. He stuck his hand out, introduced himself. Hi, I'm Mark Gathman. Nice to meet you. This is Mark's voice, by the way. You'll probably hear this throughout the night from a lot of people. I'll never forget that. I didn't know what to do. I never had a kid that was young as me introduce himself like a grown-up like that. I shook his hand, and we became instant friends. He lived 5 doors down from me. Everyone in my neighborhood is really close. A few of us that are in the crowd today, we're really like brothers, and that's not an exaggeration. I have 2 brothers of my own, and it's not any stretch of the imagination to know that Mark's just as close to them, or me, as I am to them. And out of all of us, we're all brothers, but me and Mark had a special kind of relationship. And it's kind of because Mark's a special person himself, both in a good way and bad way. He's his own self. There's no one else I've ever met like Mark Guthrie. There'll be no one that you will ever meet like Mark. And so we went to school together every day. Every Christmas morning, Mark was at my house from the time I was 9 until I was 28. Mark was there every Christmas morning. After he opened up his presents with his parents, he would come over. My mom would make him scrambled eggs and fried toast and whole milk, and he would eat it by himself. We would already eat in the morning. He would eat it by himself. And we were talking about spoiled children last night at the rehearsal. A few of the people here know the story. But speaking of spoiled children, Mark would make my mom take out our fine silverware, the stuff that was put in our china cabinet no one used. He would request it from the time he was 11 or so to use that every single breakfast and every single time he came over on Christmas. There was one Christmas that he wasn't there while Jenna, I'm not sure where she is, she was in England over Christmas, and they went to go see her. And so, I haven't really forgiven you for that, Jenna. We're getting there. That was the one time he missed, and then my family had moved from Valparaiso, and so that tradition is over, but we still talk to Mark every Christmas morning. Me and Mark went to elementary school together, middle school together, high school together, college together, and throughout those years, I've built up an insane amount of Mark stories. Every day was a different Mark story, and I won't drag you guys through all of those, mostly because they're inappropriate for this setting. And because there's too many, they're too ridiculous, and they're all the same, but a few of the short ones I will tell you that aren't too bad. Well, Mark tells a story about the first time we met that I was crying the first day of school, which isn't true. But this isn't about me, it's about Mark. So the real crybaby was Mark, and he, throughout elementary school, he cried a lot. Quite often. And one time in particular, he used to hide candy in his room. And he hid it from his friends, not from his parents or anything, from us. And we decided to lock him out of his room one time and go eat his candy. And he banged on the door and cried and screamed for his parents. And we got his candy and we ate it. And I think we may have gotten kicked out of the house afterwards.
We did.
But we did eat it. He later got me back by locking me out of my room and breaking a bunch of things of mine that I don't want to talk about. But again, this isn't about me, this is about Mark. Mark used to work for my mom. She had a restaurant, and he worked for her for a little bit. I don't know if he was the best server, but there was a few times where he would, well, in general, if people ordered something that we were out of, Mark wouldn't let them know. He would take it upon himself. He thought it was normal to just bring them something else completely different. You want a tiramisu? Well, we got cannolis, and this is what you get. That's it. There was a time he chased someone out of the restaurant one time asking for his tip. I don't know if you wanted to tip me or not. And the guy turned around very slowly and said, "The tip, it's on the table, sir." And it was on the table. In college, the only story I have that makes me upset is in college, Mark had made me miss Michael Jordan's last All-Star game. He was playing for the Wizards at the time, and you know, we couldn't find Mark, and it was due to the fact that he slept in the wrong dorm. He confused one dorm for the other. He confused one dorm. They looked the same. But I missed MJ's last All-Star game for that. I'll forgive you. That's right. But all of these stories kind of have a similar theme. They're all Mark being goofy and Mark being who he is and totally unique and original. And you can never get mad at him. He's the only friend I have that I've been friends with for that long that I don't know when we have fought. I've fist fought some of these guys out here. I might fist fight them tonight. I have never, we don't argue, because you can't get mad at him. He has a personality that's very infectious, and it's jovial, and he's lighthearted, he's warm-hearted, he's caring, and that really has inspired me greatly, and Mark has shaped my life in incredible ways. Just watching him, how he lives his life and how he treats other people, it's something that has rubbed off on me in a big way, and I can never thank you enough for that. Annie, I only met you a few days ago. When Mark told me about you, it was February, well, he told me about you before. When he told me that it was real, February 28th, he called me and left me a voicemail, which I saved, because Mark's voicemails are the best thing to ever hear. And he told me that he knew you were the one. And he told me about all his plans. He had these great plans. He told me all of them. And I knew that it was for sure that he never talked about a girl like that in his life. And I know most of his girlfriends. I feel that I have had a part in him having most of his girlfriends in his life. And those all ended up the same. There was nothing that came out of him. So when he found you, and I was out of the equation, I knew that that was probably also a good thing. And then sure enough, Mark asked Annie to marry him on August 23rd, the day after my birthday, which he didn't call me on. But yeah, I know he had other things on his mind, okay, but I don't think you can let him miss another one, please. And whatever thing Mark has told me about you has seemed to be true, and it's great to see. He's told me you're the most beautiful girl. The only thing that surpasses the beauty out here is Annie, and I couldn't be happier for Mark, and I hope you take care of him. I hope you love him, and that's about all I got. Cheers, guys.
Hey!